What's a scary or disturbing fact that would probably keep most people awake at night? That the rapists, torturers, murderers of Junko Furuta are just living life outside of prison. https n wikipedia.org wiki murder_of_Junko Furuta. The main perpetrator changed his name. Apparently. Edit. 3 of the 4 perpetrators changed their names. And only one hasn't had any trouble with the law since. A friend of mine had a brother who died in a creepily abrupt and wholly unexpected way. His brother was just 30 years old. A fit runner and soccer player. One night after a few drinks with friends he returned home and fell asleep in his chair whilst watching TV. He fell asleep sitting upright with his head resting forward. Chin on his chest. Try it now. Sit upright and angle your chin down as far as you can. Take a breath. Feel how slightly labored it is? Well, he slowly suffocated himself to death through the night simply down to head-neck angle. Scary stuff. This is more sad. Some hospitals have chilled cribs for stillborn babies. They look like normal cribs but they are cooled. It's designed for families to say goodbye before the child is taken away. Some hospitals even provide a photography service for these families. You can even donate money so more hospitals have these cribs. It's sad that something like that needs to exist but kind for families in that situation. There's nothing fundamentally stopping something in your brain from breaking forever while you sleep tonight. You could be hungry forever. Lose your eyesight. Become consumed with uncontrollable rage. Whatever. All it takes is a tiny hemorrhage in the right spot responsible for regulating some signals. And they can happen to literally anyone. The frontal lobotomy was performed with no anesthesia and it was an outpatient procedure. Stifling a sneeze can rupture your throat here. Edit. Thank you for those who pointed out that my title was a little bit misleading. You'll be fine as long you don't suppress your sneeze. Have a good day. You are far more likely to be murdered by someone you know than a stranger. There is a plant called dendrochnide moroides, also known as gimpy or the suicide plant. It's mostly found in Australia and has little stinging hairs all over it. When touched, they inject a neurotoxin in your body which hurts so much that most people rather killed themselves than waiting the 1 or 2 days until it gets better. I have the information from another Redditor on this sub, and haven't found anything that literally says, yeah, they killed themselves. But I do believe it's true. Anyway, Ernie Ryder, who got hit by this plant in 1963, said, for 2 or 3 days the pain was almost unbearable. I couldn't work or sleep. Then it was pretty bad pain for another fortnight or so. The stinging persisted for 2 years and recurred every time I had a cold shower. There's nothing to rival it. It's 10 times worse than anything else. Source. https n m wikipedia.org wiki dendrochnide_moroides. 30% of the weight of solid feces is dead bacteria. Edit. For those of you requesting a source, here you go. https www.britannica.com Science Feces. I'm actually editing a book that gives a higher percentage, which I had to fact check. I've not received a response to my author query about the discrepancy. But that's okay. I'm at the limit of my curiosity. Also, in terms of source, the person below that said, typically, the anus made me laugh, as did the person who responded. Typically? For those of you who want a percentage in liquid feces, I'm having some difficulty with the centrifuge and will get back to you. It's estimated that there's somewhere around 25 to 50 serial killers that are active each year in the US. When swimming in stagnant water, you could inhale an amoeba which eats its way through your nose and then eats your brainstem. There is a spider that has fangs so powerful that it can bite through a leather boot. It usually attacks multiple times and you have to grab it and pry it off of you. It is also incredibly deadly. Edit. I wrote it below here. But it's the Sydney funnel web spider. Because of its venom it is the deadliest spider. This one's a little esoteric. But false vacuum decay, the fundamental properties of the universe might suddenly decide to change one day. It might be an insignificant change. Or so great that all matter would just cease to exist, and we wouldn't see it coming until we blinked out of existence. Edit. Fixed link so it didn't point to the in fiction bit. Edit 2. As several people have pointed out below, there's a good Kurzgesagt video on this. Upvotes to everyone who linked it. Pill bugs aren't bugs at all. Those roly-polies are actually crustaceans. Tiny land lobsters. You have mites in your eyelashes. When you drive a car you can literally just floor it and drive into oncoming traffic at any moment. People who sleep less than 6 hours a night are at an increased risk to die prematurely. Dust mites are microscopic arachnids that live in your sheets and pillows and feeds on your dead skins. They are apparently in all homes no matter how clean. The serial killer Richard Chase would try random houses to break into. If the door was unlocked, he saw it as being an invitation. If it was locked, he saw it as a sign that he was unwelcome. Pigs will eat humans if given the chance. Someday, one last person will remember you for the last time, and from that day forward, no one ever will. Law enforcement bases their methods on catching serial killers on the ones that let themselves get caught. The truly foolproof and effective ways to get away with murder are still unknown, and there are probably many serial killers getting away with murder because the procedure for murder investigations has not changed much in years. Learned this one watching Mindhunter. In rare cases, people can die from insomnia. There are a fair number of missing nuclear weapons. Edited to add, I certainly didn't expect this level of response. Thanks for the awards. For context, I used to work for a US intelligence service on a project tasked with recovering these things. It was, simultaneously, the most boring and terrifying year and a half of my life. You could have a brain aneurysm with 0 symptoms. Any day it could rupture and kill you from significant blood loss. Happened to my mom's friend right in front of her. The seemingly perfectly healthy woman died at 40 without warning during a work trip and while having drinks with her friends. 1 second she was laughing. The next second she was on the ground. Never woke up again. My poor mom was the one that had to call her husband and kids. Prions exist. Edit. I am not that good with biology. So I left it to other Redditors to explain. But since so many of you asked, prions are misfolded proteins that cause other proteins that interact them to become misfolded or prions themselves. This can stop crucial body processes and cause death. And there's no cure fake. For those unfamiliar, a hockey player named Colby Cave just passed away 2 days ago from a brain bleed in his sleep. It's horrifying that a 25-year-old in peak physical condition can go to bed and just die essentially, especially by something so far beyond anyone's control. Totally heartbreaking series of events. https n Wikipedia org wiki Colby_Cave. Waking up isn't guaranteed. As a person dies, your sense of hearing is the last sense to be lost. In child porn cases, someone has to actually watch the video beginning to end so they can testify about it in court to seal a conviction. In the 70s to 80s, the first case of many Southeast Asian refugees in the US who died screaming in their sleep was recorded. This was common for Lao Hmong men who lived through the Cambodian genocide and CIA recruitment for the Lao Civil War. It's theorized that this was an extreme form of PTSD. One story. The man had stayed up for days fearing he would be attacked if he slept. He drank coffee and lied to his parents about sleeping. He did everything he could to keep from sleeping. When he finally fell asleep, his parents thought this crisis was over. Then they heard screams in the middle of the night. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of a nightmare. Edit. I said first recorded but I'm dumb and this was not the first record of it. And Lao Civil War not Nam. Edit 2. Some articles from the time. A digital NY Times article from when the cases really started racking up in 81. https www.nytimes.com, the 10th of May 1981, nightmares suspected in bed deaths of 18 Laotians. HTML, an LA Times article from 88. https www.latimes.com, archives, La XPM the 24th of April 1988 Me 2575 story, HTML? _amp equals true. Edit. Yes, I watched Game Theory. It freaked me out and taught me something. I posted this and learned more from y'all. Like apparently the story I wrote was a fake one. But man is it a memorable reminder the effects of a war that no one really talks about. Here's 3. 1. Goats were used as a medieval torture method. Strap someone to a chair for 2 days. With their feet dipped in salt water. Release a goat into the room. The goat will lick the salt of the victim's feet. And since a goat's tongue is super coarse it will strip the flesh off down to the bone, no pleading, and no mercy. The goat won't care about the screams. 2. In very ancient times, a way of execution was to bend 2 palm trees together. Tie someone's ankles to them. And let the palm trees go. They would immediately spring up, ripping the victim in two. 3. It's better to pick up a human head with 2 hands. Because it's as heavy as a bowling ball and the weight is uneven. I'm not sure about picking it up by the hair. Because I'm pretty sure it would be slick with blood. Edit. Oh God, did not expect this to blow up. I do not remember the sources. 1 and 3 I think I read on some other Reddit post a long time ago. 2 was a story my mom told me. She said it was how Saint Corona, ironically the saint of infectious diseases, got martyred. Think of someone you love but only see a few times a year. Now take a guess at how many years until one of you dies. How many more times in your lifetime are you going to see that person? If you moved away from your parents and only see them 3 times a year and you expect them to live another 30 years, that's less than 100 times you will ever see them again. Edit. This is what first made me really think about this idea. Probably where Aziz Ansari it from too.